The agenda for tonight is main conclusion, main point, and complete the argument questions, all of which are really variations on the same idea, the same theme. And that is simply, what is the conclusion of the argument? What's the main point? Occasionally, they will ask you to complete the argument, but these are all driving at the same general idea here. So these are closely related logical reasoning questions. Variations, main point, what's the main point? What completes the argument? What expresses the conclusion? All pointing to the same general idea here. This is a relatively easier kind of logical reasoning question. But at the same time, it's important to know how to articulate an idea, the main point, the conclusion, and some of the skills that you gain here, even though this is in a logical reasoning context, will still apply to reading comprehension as well. And I'm always talking about find the main idea in reading comp, find the main point there. In logical reasoning, it's typically a little bit easier to do, but it's important. And if you could do it here, then you're much more likely to be able to do it there in a tougher context. So I have this relatively early in the course because it's a simpler introductory kind of question. I think of it as a little bit closer to a gimme than something like parallel reasoning. And I would think of main point or main conclusion as being like an orientation question in logic games, but in the logical reasoning context. Like, you got to be able to do this if you're going to be able to do the tougher stuff. And these aren't always easy, of course. There are tougher versions of it, and we'll get into some examples of that in a few, but you got to start with this to get to the later stuff. So these are, again, some common question stems referring to these kinds of questions. And although complete the argument may be a little bit different because it involves filling in the blank, it's still generally looking for the conclusion as our main conclusion and main point questions. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.